Hello, so this is the project called Memory Card, all from the Odin project or top. The idea behind this was to learn how to use life cycles, hooks, and functional components in a little bit more detail. The aim of the game was to click through the cards. You can't click the same card twice, and then the cards shuffle, so you kind of got to remember which ones you have clicked. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I got quite a basic version up and running quite quickly, but there is still quite a few things that I need a little bit more of an understanding, let's say. Like there's some things which don't quite click yet for me. But with that being said, let's have a quick look at what I've managed to build. I'll go through the game, some of the code, and some things which I think aren't quite right, but still somehow manage to work. So this is the game itself. I went with an Apex Legend sort of style because I've been playing quite a few games of Apex Legend on Twitch recently. I just thought, let's go with that. Up in the top left here, we've got this kind of navigation. So I've got the logo and info. Both of these actually have an on-click method, which both load up the same information, like rules and info, just saying, you know, the game is to click through, make sure you don't click the same card twice, and just saying it's from the Odin project there. Then we've got score and high score. Fairly straightforward with that. In the top right, we've got links to social icons. All these links will be down below as well if you want to check that out. I've got YouTube, Twitch, my website, and a link to top as well. The cards, they have a bit of a hover state where they change color, and there's a slight scale, so that's quite nice. On load, the cards are automatically shuffled. That's something I've literally just implemented before doing this video. So before it was shuffling when I click the cards, it does that still, but now it also shuffles on refresh. So let's just go through. I click Ash. As you see, scores increased, also high scores increased. And we've got Bloodhound, Bangalore, Crypto, and Caustic, and then that's it, game over, because I've clicked the 5 cards, and I've got this next level functionality, so that just adds in another character. I think that works really well. High score is still the 5 from the previous level, but score resets, and if I click the same card twice after a while, so I've already clicked Caustic, it will reset the score. So I'm quite happy with the results. Things look pretty well. Maybe the images could do with a little work. I don't know if they're stretched a little, but it's quite nice there. And I have got it a little bit mobile responsive, very slightly. So I've got this as display grid, and I believe it's auto fill, or might be auto fit actually. I'll check that out. But it will just allow the cards to wrap. And when it gets to a certain size, it overlaps a bit there, but it's not too bad. I do hide the info, which may or may not be a good idea, but because you can still click the modal there, it's not a showstopper. However, I don't think it's very usable on mobile because you don't really get to see all the cards and the shuffling. So over to the code now, I'll talk you through a few bits and bobs. So I probably should have cleaned this up a little bit more, like deleted the logo, SVG, cleared out some of the files. So initially I've got the app component, and that just loads the game one. And the game's where quite a lot of my logic is stored, and this is where maybe things could have done with improving on. I keep a record of the score, the high score, the current cards, so that lets me know if the same card's been clicked. This is how I check it here. And also the current level, and that allows me to select the number of cards. I begin the level at 5, so there's always at least 5 cards. And the update current cards, and I think this is where maybe I've gone a little bit wrong. And possibly the current cards could possibly be in a different component, I'm not 100% sure. Because when I update the cards here, my card container obviously gets refreshed on one of these use effects. So that's where possibly some work could be done. Maybe put the score in with the current cards as well. That's where my knowledge kind of gets a bit blurry. I'm like, should this work like this or this? But in the end, it does work, so I'm quite happy. Let's just close this off so there's more space. So yeah, I load in the card container that has the functions. So they just pass through functions. I also got my nav bar where I have the modal for the info and where I have the high scores and the social icons. Next, we got the card container, and I used the container because of shuffling the cards. I just wanted to make sure they were always kind of in the same location. I haven't added all the possible images or characters here, so I could add more levels if necessary. I've got them all in my public folder. And using the level, that's how I tell how many cards to use. Got the random sort here, and then I've got a game over check. So the game over function has kind of two options, where if you've actually reached the max level, you just say you've crushed it and you can't continue, and you just have to refresh the page there. But otherwise, it gets you to add one to the next level. I looked through the cards that I've got based on the level to create the card container. I've just got the text, the image, and I passed through the function again, which comes from game. And that is what's used to pass back the name to then check if that name already exists in the current card. As you can tell here, I did have the random order on click, but as I said, with the game function reloading when I update the current cards and the high score, I can actually get it working just through the card container on load. So that saves a little bit there. One thing that I've noticed with the game itself though, and as you may have seen when I was demoing it, is that with the names being on the cards, it's actually quite simple to do if you just go in alphabetical order. So I am very tempted to remove the names from the cards, and you actually have to look at the images and remember which ones you've clicked. That's just a minor detail. I may not do it, but it's just something to think about, I guess. But I've really enjoyed it. It was good to use more functional components and the use effect. It's interesting, it's quite powerful, and as I said, I'm kind of just scratching the surface with it, and I still need to understand it a little bit more. So let me know your thoughts. Did you enjoy this? Are you going to give it a go, see if you can beat all the levels? Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more, then please subscribe. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll catch you later.